Today, Owen and I do something that might not be too easy. We go and revisit our takes from before the season from an episode we did where we played a game of What's More Likely Syracuse Football Edition. We'll see what we said preseason. It might not be pretty. Maybe it will be. We'll find out. It's on Lockdown Syracuse. It's right now.
Are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Matt Bonaparte, Owen Valentine with you on this wonderful Wednesday morning. Thanks for making Lockdown Syracuse your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Like I said, we're doing something that maybe you don't want to do, but we have the guts to go back and look at our old takes and face them in the eyes and say, if you're Owen, you would say, wow, that's such a bad take. But if you're me, you go, wow, I'm a genius. And that's where we kind of draw the line there. But let's get right into it, okay? So preseason, I believe it was before training camp even, we did an episode called What's More Likely Syracuse Football Edition. We did one during the Bones and Brad era, but we're only going over the Bones and Owen era one. This is from August 3rd, 2022, so nothing had happened. Nobody knew that Syracuse was going to start the season 4-0, probably 5-0. But, let's see what we said. First question that was posed was, is the Syracuse defense ranked higher than 80th, or is the Syracuse offense ranked higher than 80th at the end of the season? I said defense. You said offense. Spoiler alert, right now, they're both top 80, which we definitely didn't expect. But I will say that the defense is ranked 26th in the nation. This is all just points against and points for, by the way. So that's the only ranking we're going by. And the offense is 57th. I'm not necessarily going to take a win on that, but I will say I do have the edge. But we're both right. So we have that going for us. The team kind of saved us on that one.
What a start. I mean,
yeah.
To have a What's More Likely that are both currently hitting is a really good start for the two of us to take a look back on these and see sort of what our preseason thoughts were. I know there's a question a little bit down the way that I am so far off on, and I know you're ready to let me have it. But with this one, we are both correct, even though you are a little bit more correct than I am at this time. If I remember, that question was sort of in lieu of looking at where Syracuse had finished in the past and their top finishes. And I think it was like the defense or the offense in 2018 was 11th in the country. And the top defense since Dino had arrived was, I believe, at like 65.
Well, 2018, I remember that the 2018 season was like they were 11th in offense and 65th in defense. So like that was something that we were looking at.
Yeah, so that was sort of what it was based off of. And then we settled on 80, assuming that this would not be 2018 level team, which I still don't think it is, but it is much better than anticipated. But pretty cool that we're both starting 1 for 1 in this, revisiting at the midway point. We'll see what happens. I think after the last 2 weeks, you're definitely more likely to hold with the defense than I am with the offense to hold. But I do think they both have a good chance to be able to, be in that conversation at the end of the year, even if they take a little bit of a slide. But I do think, and you can take the 1-0 advantage if you want, even though we're both right at this point.
I'm going to give
you can take the 1-0 advantage in that you are significantly safer at this point in time with that first take.
Yeah, I think my rationale there was kind of just looking at last year's team. Similar offense. They were 92nd in the country in offense last year, 65th in defense. So similar team. I took the similar answer. So not too much rocket science there. Okay, second one is, will Syracuse's offense have 15? What's more likely is 15 receiving touchdowns or 35 rushing touchdowns. When we were revisiting this one, I think both of us were like, Oh God, I hope I said
Yeah.
receiving. And
Yeah.
luckily we both did say receiving, which is massive.
Huge.
Because if we said rushing, I mean that would have been brutal. I don't know what we were thinking. 35 rushing touchdowns. How many did
It would
they
have been
have last
combined
year?
with Schrader and Tucker.
Schrader and Tucker combined last year had 26. And then
Yeah.
like they had 28. So I guess we were thinking like, oh, Tucker's gonna ramp it up, dude. And he's gonna have like 100 touchdowns. Like, what were we thinking? That's an insane number.
I think
And
if I could go back to the thought process, I believe we were trying to find something that was a stretch in both
yeah,
categories.
probably.
And
Because look,
35 rushing touchdowns was the stretch. And it is hysterical to look back on that. That is sort of the confidence meter that we had in this passing game in Garrett Schrader, is that
yeah.
15 passing touchdowns was sort of the threshold that we had for the stretch of Garrett Schrader puts together a good year is absolutely absurd.
And they only had
And
10 last year receiving
yeah,
touchdowns.
so
So it's not
it would have
crazy.
been an improvement,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it would
oh,
be what? An improvement of 5 for 15 rush or receiving touchdowns, improvement of 7 for rushing touchdowns. That's a
yes.
pretty crazy thing to think about.
And Schrader's
But
got 8 through 4 games
through
so
4
far. So
games. Yeah.
well ahead of pace to achieve that. Thankfully, we are both correct because the 35 rushing touchdowns are
It's not gonna
nowhere
happen.
near
I'll
pace
tell you
at
what,
this
that's
point
not
in
gonna
time.
happen. Okay. Next one is Syracuse positive in ACC play, or are they winless in ACC play? What's more likely, Owen? What'd you say?
I did, hand up, you got me. I said they were more likely to go winless in ACC play than positive in ACC play.
Want to elaborate
They're
on that?
2-0 in ACC play, as you all are well aware. I will, you got me. I will eat my words there. I was wrong. It happens. I think my thought process was incorrect. I will say again to just double down on that. But the thought process was that this team is going through a ringer, and in that ringer, they aren't necessarily going to have the chance to get, what is it, 5-4? How many ACC games do they have? 8 this year? 9 ACC games. So it would have been 5-4. Positive was a winning record in the ACC play.
It's 8.
Is it 8 games?
Yeah.
It would have to be 5-3, even more difficult. 5-3 in ACC play. I just didn't see it happening. I still don't necessarily see it
So
happening.
I was gonna say is we could both be wrong
This
on
is
this one
very
because
much
they
a
could still
both are
lose.
wrong,
Yeah.
but
Well, not yet.
I was wrong week 1.
Yeah. Well,
Like that.
I remember my rationale for it was there's no way they go winless. Like there is no chance they go winless. Even in the season they won 1-10, they didn't go winless in ACC play. They beat Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So my thought process was there's just no way they go winless. So by that process, there is more likely that they go positive. So it had to be.
And yes, right now the likelihood of yours happening is still a non-zero, right? This bet for me is, you ever place a bet on a favorite to win, like you've got your -10 squad and they just get blown out from the get-go and like there's never a fighting chance. That was this for me. There was absolutely no chance. Or you bet on an over of like 54 and the final score is 13-7. That's this for me, right? There was never a chance. And oh boy, not a good take. But you're not correct yet, which I will sit back on and say that maybe this was the stumper question of the bunch where neither of us can walk away victorious. Hopefully, because this not good for me.
Yeah, not a good take by you. But hey, let's take a quick break to tell you about BetOnline. Look at that. Look at that beautiful graphic that the YouTube
Woo!
viewers can see. Hey, if you aren't a YouTube viewer, you don't. I'm not going to tell you have to be a YouTube viewer, but I am going to ask that you just head over press that subscribe button. That'd be huge.
Maybe like a video while you're there.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, yeah, do whatever you want, but that subscribe button would be massive for us. Anyway, betonline.net is your number one source for football betting info this season. Find all of the latest player developments, team matchups, news podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sport wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. It's the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, we continue on this episode exposing bad takes if you're named Owen Valentine. Next one up on the docket is Garrett and Deuce combined for 6 interceptions this season, or the linebackers combined for 17 sacks. What's more likely? I said linebackers combined for 17 sacks. You said Garrett and Deuce pick 6 passes off. Now, I think, let's see. Currently, Garrett has picked off 2, so you're almost halfway there for that, Owen. Sacks-wise, Wax has 2.5. Michael has 2, so I've got 4.5. And Leon Lowry has 1, so I have 5.5. All right, I'll take 5.5. What is that?
Both of us are pretty much exactly 1/3 of the way there.
I've got 32% of the way there, and you're about 33% of the way there. So we're pretty dead even right now.
Pretty much dead even.
And I lost Stephon Thompson, so that it's even harder for me.
You should have foreseen that in your prediction.
True. But Leon Lowry did pick it up, so it's okay. Let me see what they did last year and what we were basing this off of. Last year.
Bones.
What?
Anwar Sparrow has a sack.
Does he?
No, it's a tackle for loss. I apologize.
Oh my gosh, you scared me. I was like, did I miss that? Like, there's no way.
I got so excited for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your excitement for me. Deuce Chestnut had 3 picks last year. Garrett had none. Garrett already has 2 this year. Deuce has none. And last year, sack-wise, Marlo Wax had 6. Stephon Thompson had 5.5. So that's 11.5. And Mike Hell had 3. So, and Jeff Canarku had 1. So that's, I don't know, like 14 or something.
I think it's
so
15
we were
and a half
both.
Is what your math just said.
All right, cool. So we were both. Yeah, that was a decent line from both of us.
Yeah.
But that one, that's still got a ways to go. Where do you, if you had to repick, what would you choose?
I'm fine where I stand right now, especially given the injury. Not that it's been a huge knock, and you look at the replacements and how McDonald has come in and played really well, and Anwar Sparrow, despite not having a sack, and my excitement a second ago, has played well, and they've had, the replacements come in and really hold up the line. I don't think there's a bad choice here still. I will stick with the interceptions. I'll stay true to my gut. Garrett's done his fill. Deuce has got a handful of pass breakups, I believe. Is 1, so not quite a handful, but there's something in his hand. It is. I feel like the ball doesn't necessarily get thrown to Deuce all too much.
No, because he's a dog.
Yeah.
And nobody throws at him. He just covers his guy.
So at this point, I'll stick with it. Right, 1/3 of the way through the season, 1/3 of the way to the goal. I'll stand true to it. I know Deuce is going to pick off 1 or 2.
That's what they said about Garrett last year, and he never did.
True. I'll stand strong.
I think I like the linebackers. If I could go back, I would pick the linebackers again. Or if I had to pick right now, I'd pick the linebackers too. Because I just like that there are more options than just 2 guys.
Correct.
Like I have 6 guys that could potentially be getting me sacks. So I like that.
And
there's
maybe we revisit that, because I know that the original thought was we look at the 3 starting linebackers, which you're now loopholing into 6 guys.
I'm just going by what the literature says. Okay, I'm going by the literature.
Fair. Your rationale there makes sense in that you have more options to get sacks, and I am kitty cornered to 2 guys because we had enough room to put their name in the graphic. That's fine. I'll stand true. We'll revisit in 3 months and see where we stand again. But this one, I'll hold on to. I think they can get the interceptions up there. Why not? Why not? I'll stay optimistic. Okay. Can we call the forced fumble / fumble recovery? Can I throw that into the pot? Can we call them turnovers?
Absolutely not.
Strictly
if you want to call them turnovers, I think I would gain more from that because Michael and Marlowe both have a forced fumble and a fumble recovery.
Whoa, I was only talking for my guys. All right, next topic.
Next one. Sean Tucker goes for 1,800 scrimmage yards, or Garrett Schrader rushes for 15 touchdowns. Now, when we were watching these back, at first we thought it said Schrader passes for 15 touchdowns, and we were both like, oh no, because we both took Tucker here for 1,800 scrimmage yards. Luckily for us, it is rushing touchdowns for Schrader, and he has 4 right now, and Tucker has what scrimmage yards? Tucker's got 483. So what is that?
He's more than that, doesn't he, or no?
He's got 483 scrimmage yards on the year.
Yep, that's exactly what he has. Sorry, bad math. 483. So he's at just under 500, a third of the way through the year. It's not gonna happen necessarily right now, but I don't hate it at the moment, honestly. Like it's alive. We're looking at Sean Tucker, and we've talked about him playing 2
He'd have to have a couple huge
games.
He'd have to have like an Albany game.
Yeah, he hasn't had a pleased with his performance game since week 1, honestly. And he's almost at 500 yards through 4 games. So 1/3 of the way through the season, he is, yes, significantly under pace, but he is alive. Schrader has 4 rushing touchdowns right now. So neither of those are really looking good. But I can see a world where, in an incredibly optimistic mindset, Sean can get back into that groove. And what's he got to do? What's he got to do per game to hit 1,800? That's going to be the number that just discourages me. So it would be 1,300
I'll do that.
by 8 games. Math. He needs 162 yards a game for the rest of the season.
See, no, but he could get like 200 rushing yards and like 80 receiving yards in this Wagner game. And then like that number goes way down.
So then that would put him, you talk, I'm going to do math.
Okay, because I was just thinking, let's look at the Albany game from last year, September 18th, 2021. He set all kinds of records in this game. Tucker ran for 132 yards, caught the ball 3 times for a grand total of 121 yards. So that was 253 right there. So if he has a game where he puts 253 on the board, then that changes everything. And that number comes way down that he'd have to hit every single game.
It would be down to 142, just about 145-ish, I guess, if you take away my rounding. So if he goes for 3, it's doable. It's doable. So is Schrader. Neither likely at this point. We got very optimistic lines. We're set preseason.
We should have looked up at the time when we were making that number. We should have thought of what he'd have to do every game to hit it. We didn't do that. We should.
Well, as we said, I'll revisit the thought process. We were looking for stretches because
he was 49 yards shy of that last year.
Yeah.
And we were both thinking like they're going to throw the ball more, so he's going to get more touches through the air, and we already know he's going to run the ball well, but that didn't.
Yeah, which we thought was going to be the case as we looked, against Louisville, as he gets 6 receptions and he breaks off on that screen pass for a 50-plus yard score, and then he's getting the ball thrown to him. Like he had 5 receptions against Virginia, but there just hasn't necessarily been that space, or he hasn't been able to break out and have that big receiving reception, which I think is where our thought process came to play there on how he was getting to 1,800, as he was going to be used in the passing game a lot more, and theoretically being used in the passing game is going to get him to the outside, give him space, allow him to use his strengths and what we've seen him be able to do. And we have not necessarily been able to see that all too often thus far.
Correct. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we got one more on the other side. This one's from LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's very easy to go create a free job post on LinkedIn. After you do that, you just add the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. And simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. You always want to find the right team member that's going to help your small business. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, one more, Mr. Valentine. It is, will the Syracuse offense feature 3 quarterbacks at some point in the year or 4 running backs at some point in the year? I took quarterbacks. You took running backs. Now, before everybody in the comments is thinking, what constitutes being featured? Like if a guy changes positions, does that count? It does. Danny Villari counts, even though he came in as a tight end. Guy's a quarterback. And that means that I've already hit.
Well, let me say this. So this is where I am angry with you in the logistics of this wording. Because yes, I chose 4 running backs, and I think it's still going to hit. I'm very confident about that. But it is absurd that Danny Dimes, as he was called at Michigan, apparently,
as we know
learned
from
last
Fred.
episode.
That's our guy from Fred.
Danny Dimes, how many snaps has he taken at tight end this season?
Uno, to my knowledge.
Okay. So how does that count as a quarterback, but Courtney Jackson's 1 rush does not count
because he didn't
as a running back play?
Because he was like an end around or something.
It was an end around. Oh no, it was a rush. That's a running back.
No, he didn't line up as like a down back. He didn't do that.
You know what I was thinking?
He didn't stand behind Schrader with his hands on his knees.
I was thinking they were going to run some sort of wildcat with a Rondé in the back. And this was when I was really, really on the flex idea of a Rondé's tight end spot, which I'm still not completely.
Here's what I'll contend. Dan Villari is listed as a quarterback on the roster. That's where I got you checkmated, buddy.
You do have me good.
Now,
is Trevor Pena ever a running back? Can I loophole him into this situation?
No, you can't loophole.
I need a loophole.
Trevor does not. No, he's a wide receiver.
I know. Okay, you don't have to remind me. I'm aware. Yeah, I'm going to lose this one, barring injury, and I will gladly lose this one for the running backs to stay healthy. I will put that out there. I do not want that moment on me. I am charitable. I'll bring it back up. We bumped the likes and subscribers on YouTube. Get it to 1K. 4-pack of tickets for whoever.
I need you to say the offer cleanly. Like say, if we do this is inside baseball for everybody watching, so I can clip it and put it on Twitter.
Right,
so give him the Owen Valentine guarantee right now.
Shirt. I don't know.
It's okay. Just give him the OV guarantee.
Okay, let's do it. Inside baseball per Bones. If the YouTube account gets to 1,000 subscribers in the football season, whenever that is, if that happens, I will personally fund 4 tickets, a 4-pack of tickets for someone. We will do a raffle, a drawing, a something. To get those tickets, I will send them over to you. We will email them, whatever the choice of sharing is. I will send them over to you. Will they be incredible tickets? No. Will they be the worst available? Also, no. I will put them somewhere in the middle, but I will personally finance that trip for 4 people. If you have a family of 5, I might accept an argument for the 5th ticket. I would hate to leave a child out. But if you 4 tickets to someone,
maybe 5.
5 if there's a case.
Okay.
Because we need people in the dome. And we need to
Sure.
see that dome filled. In a really optimistic world, we go on a huge subscriber, train right now, and we get to 1,000 by NC State, and I send you to what could be the most expensive ticket of the year. Really break my bank account here, please. Not that
This is
it's
very
going to.
philanthropic of you.
Yeah, why not? We'll do it. We'll make it work. Please. I want this to happen for the good of the team, not for the good of the podcast, for the good of the team. Okay, get 4 more people.
Sign this man up
into the dome, please.
Marketing. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen every day. Go get more on the ACC. Make Locked On ACC your second listen every day. Host Candace Cooper and the local experts of Locked On take you across the ACC in 30 minutes. Make Locked On ACC your second listen. That's Locked On ACC. Owen, what do you got?
Do we have a final tally? Did we keep that?
What do you mean?
Of who was more right for each of these?
I mean, not all of them are done. I'm more right than you, though.
Okay. Never mind. We don't need to tally.
I'll tally them up right now. Why not? I'm more right than you on the defense versus offense 80th ranked thing.
But I'm not wrong. So we're 1-1.
You're not wrong. I'm just more right.
1-1.
The next one, we both agreed, receiving touchdowns over rushing touchdowns.
2-2.
ACC play, I'm right. You're already wrong. I'm not necessarily right, but you're already wrong. So that makes me more right.
Here, I'll get this.
The Garrett and Deuce versus the linebackers, we're dead even right now.
Neither gets a point yet.
Neither gets a point. Sean Tucker, 1,800 versus Schrader's rushing touchdowns. We both said
Neither
Tucker. And QBs versus running backs. I'm right. You're wrong. You might not be wrong, but I'm already right. So I win.
Tough. That's all right. You've been here long.
All right. Well, see ya.